my lovelies, today's video is going to be the Reading Rush reading vlog, and I'm actually filming my introductions before the Reading Rush actually starts so that I don't actually eat into my Reading Rush time. Reading Rush is a week-long reading challenge. There are 7 prompts, but you don't have to read 7 books in those 7 days. You can double up the books or triple up the books, or you can just focus on one challenge. It's completely up to you whether you read audio books, ebooks, physical books, and how you read and how many prompts you do is completely up to you. I'm going to be trying to hit all 7 prompts with 3 books, and the prompts are to read a book that's the same colour cover as your birthstone, to read a book that begins with the, to read a book that's inspired by a movie you've already seen, to read the first book you touch, to read a book completely not in your house, to read a book from a genre that scares you or you've read the least, and to read a book that's set on a different continent to one that you live in. The first book that I'm planning to read is An American Marriage by T.R. Jones, which is actually the Books That Matter book for June because it's based on the theme of the Women's Prize for Fiction, and An American Marriage actually won the Women's Prize for Fiction in 2019. I'm going to be trying to hit 3 prompts with this book. The first is read a book the same colour cover as your birthstone. I was born in November, so my birthstone is either topaz or citrine, which moves between orange and blue. And I thought about trying to find a book with an orange cover, and I thought about The Priory of the Orange Tree because that's an orange book that's 800 pages, so I wasn't going to be able to read that in that week. And then luckily Books That Matter gave me this book in their box, and it hits both of the colours for my birth months, and this is absolutely perfect, and I don't think you're going to get any more blue and orange than this book. I'm also going to be using this book as my attempt to read completely outside the house, so by that I mean reading in the garden or reading in the garage. And it also fits the prompt of read a book that's set on a different continent, because I live in Wales in the UK, which is in the continent of Europe, and this is set in America, so it's on the continent of North America. This follows the story of newlyweds Celestial and Roy, who are living the American dream. He is an executive and she is an artist on the brink of a new career. That is until Roy is wrongly imprisoned for a crime that he didn't commit and ends up having to be in prison for 12 years. So it follows the story of Roy and Celestial and their friend Andre, which Celestial takes comfort in, and what happens when Roy is released after spending all this time in prison for a crime he did not commit. The next book I'm planning on reading is Half of a Yellow Sun by Adichie. We actually watched the film adaptation of Half of a Yellow Sun in my first year at university, but we were studying a different Adichie text, so we didn't actually read the book. So therefore I have seen the film that's been inspired by the book, but I haven't read the book yet, so that fits really nicely into that prompt. This fits into the prompt of read a book that is set on a different continent to the one that you live in, and this is because this is set in 1960 Nigeria, so the continent is Africa. This follows the 3 intersecting lives of different people and how they are thrown together and torn apart during the Nigerian Civil War. The third prompt that this fits is read a genre that scares you or you've read the least. And what scares me about this is that it's adult fiction, and I'm very worried that I'm not actually going to be able to read it all because it's very small writing and it's going to be dealing with lots of heavy topics as I've seen from the movie, and it's also going to be very political as well, and I'm not very good at politics. I love history, that's why I tend to like history that's further back than the 1960s and the Nigerian Civil War, and it scares me honestly how political and how scary and just how traumatic that this is going to be, especially with it being such a recent event in history as well. So that leaves me 1 book to hit 2 more of the prompts, and those 2 prompts are read a book that begins with the in the title and read a book that's the first book you've touched. So what I've done is I picked out 3 books that all have titles that begin with the, which is The Corset, The Hazelwood and The Dutch House, and I picked ones that all are similar widths, so I'm going to blindfold myself, shuffle them up and see which one is the first one I touch. The reason why I've picked books that are all of similar width is because I won't be able to know which book is which just by touching them, because they are all about the same and they all feel the same, and this is going to be really weird, but here we go with my Killstar sleeping mask, and I'm going to do some shuffling, spin myself around a little bit. My eye is going, I would be able to not see even with the sleeping mask on because my eyesight is rubbish and my eye is turning. But yeah, let's pick this at random by touch. Oh, I completely missed the book there. Oh! The Corset by Laura Purcell, and I'm really excited that it's that book. So the book that I ended up touching was The Corset by Laura Purcell, so bye-bye to The Dutch House and The Hazelwood for now. They can be put on my TBR another time, and I should probably put my glasses back on to read what it's about and tell you what it's about. So Laura Purcell writes historical fiction with a creepy twist, and The Corset is about when Dorothea's charitable work leads her to Oatcake Prison. She finds herself drawn to Ruth, a teenage seamstress and a self-confessed murderess who nurses a dark and uncanny secret. The secret that is leading her straight to the gallows. As Ruth reveals her disturbing past to Dorothea, the fates of these two women entwine, and with every revelation a new layer of doubt is cast. Can Ruth be trusted? Is she mad or a murderer? I really loved Laura Purcell's writing when it came to the Silent Companions, and I actually read the Silent Companions for the Stay-at-Home Reading Rush, so this is kind of weird that I've ended up doing 2 Laura Purcell books for Reading Rush, so we'll see how far I get. I'm probably going to start with An American Marriage, but end up having to read half of Yellow Sun in bed, and we'll see if I get to reading the Corset. If for some reason I read super speedy, I'll just pick another one of these 2 up. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.